All right. Gonna start in a minute. I wonder what my sound levels are. All right, this is good too. I'm gonna build a GEPA, well, whatever, genetic prompt something. uh, Genetic Pareto optimizer. Um, I mean, semi from scratch, semi from the paper, I guess. I'm gonna wait just a little bit. We'll see. It's been a minute since I streamed, so I actually don't even remember how this all works. How do I even see like the comments? There we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. And then I guess we should be live on here. Yeah. There's no image. Nah, there we go. Man, every time I sit down to stream, I feel tired. This is so weird. And the camera disconnects for absolutely no reason. What the fuck? And the camera's right. It's connected over USB. Obscure. Like since the Mac OS 10 update. All right. What are we going to do? We're going to build a genetic Pareto optimizer. Hey, James, how's it going? Yeah, I've kind of like tuned off the general AI stuff for a minute and just like worked on my own stuff. The world's crazy out there. Like, I mean, it finally happened. Like this thing that I've been like pondering about for 3 years. Now everybody's going absolutely nuts. I mean, it's happening. Software development, I think, at this point is just like dramatically shifting, and no one really knows what it's going to be. I have like a hunch. I'm working on some things that are really really interesting and really novel. I think. I don't think I can talk about. Well, no, actually, on stream today there'll be a little bit about it. But the bigger part of it is like it's. I mean, times are scary, right? It's like there's no certainty. That's like the scary part. Is like there is no certainty in what we're doing anymore. Um, so what do I have here? Because I already started quite a bit, but I might actually just like start from scratch. I already have stuff here that's been like mostly vibed, I think. I don't know if there's like all too much value in using this. Maybe there is. Um, I wonder why it's failing on the syntax highlighting. What's interesting is oh cool, thanks James. It's like I don't know if you have my Substack. I finally like because I left my job ironically because I couldn't deal with the slop. which which sounds crazy, but I finally managed to like publish something, and I think this is like finally a way to put this in like clearer terms, and I'm like building up to getting into these like um concept that for me feel so self-evident, but then they're really hard to communicate. So I'm trying to build up for this, and like Opus has gotten so good at writing. And I used to write in an LLM kind of tone, right? Like M dashes and bullet point lists and bolding and all of that stuff. That was like my thing. So to me, it feels pretty natural what comes out. Like there's a couple of LLMisms that I like cut down on. It's funny. Sometimes there would be like an article of mine on Hacker News from like 2019, and people would be like, "This is LLM slop. This is unacceptable." I'm like, "Okay." Oh, thank you. Uh, no, it is. I've renamed it. I don't know what to do. I like people have asked or like suggested that I start a Patreon as well to do like a little bit of pocket money, and I think I will. Um, I realized a lot of pieces have fallen together as well, right? Like the article, I think is finally I'm finally able to put this in a coherent form, because before I was trying to grasp at different of these concepts, right? I had like the concept of DSL, and I was like, DSLs are great, but it's just like a tiny piece of it. And then tools came out, and funnily, me going out of Twitter for a while and out of streaming, out of all this agent craze, like I'm back to my original techniques. I'm like squarely back in GPT-3 kind of prompting land, because I don't know if you've seen Jimmy Chat. Like, is it Jimmy Chat, Chat Jimmy? Yeah, this guy, right? Which is like a heavily quantized Llama 3, which is put um, into silicon. It's like 15,000 tokens per second. It's like it's absolutely nuts. But if you use some of the old prompting techniques, right? Like this is a small model that's like more capable for sure than Da Vinci back then or so. And so if I say like create a DSL to represent farming methods, concise, minimal, do a spec plus a bunch of examples. So if we create a language, um, right, like something domain specific that's like fairly simple to understand, hopefully fairly simple to write a spec for. Like, I mean, this is where the GEPA, the genetic Pareto optimizer is going to come in, is like, how do I actually make good prompts for these small models? Because that's kind of something that now that the models are so good, right? Like, I mean, I don't give it too much of a damn about my prompting. I'll just be like, no. But there was a time where you had to be like, no, it should be called method and not function, or it should be like a closing bracket or something. So I'm not sure that this is all too good, but we'll see. We'll see where we get at, because I did a couple of experiments, right? And like this dude is like, write some JavaScript, and it's like kind of good. But the crazy part is this, right? And and I mean, I'm sure this kind of works. It probably does. You know, it might have some subtle like small model brain errors, which are important to take into account, of course, right? Because the simplest error will like make your thing not execute. But there's techniques around that, and like, hold on, my mouse is like stuck. Oh, I hate this thing. I've got this like little adapter for my keyboard, and it like keeps getting dirty and grimy. All right. Hopefully this works. It's like on this little thing. It's pretty cool. But I've got grimy fingers. So you can see this was 70 milliseconds, right? And it's a shit ton of tokens. And from my experience with DaVinci is like, hey, in like 200 tokens, you can actually generate something that is useful for the real world. So I'm not sure how big the content window is, but this looks decent, right? So the idea is that if you put this in here and then say, using this spec, write a program to water my garden with roses and thujas. Right, like this thing here, I mean, it doesn't understand Python, right? Like it doesn't understand the DSL. So right, like so there is going to be like a fair amount of prompt engineering that's going to be necessary, because it doesn't understand this thing. And I say, you know, using this DSL format, not another programming language, write a DSL program to water my garden, and the syntax is too complicated, and there might be but it can do it, right? And so the idea is really like, hey, if you can do this in like, in 20 milliseconds, um, that's fucking faster than just like rendering it. Um, what does that enable us to do in terms of software? Like, what does it mean to be able to create software at this speed on like a keyboard callback, right? Yeah, it's dictionary compression is one way to think about it. Like, I think every person thinks about it in a different way as well, because language is such an ingrained part of how we think, right? Of our cognition. But I was searching for words, right? Like for a long time, I was calling it the ladder of language, and I was calling it like the like the needle point, the needle eye kind of thing. Um, so yeah, there's like lots of ways of talking about it, and I mean, language is so infinite. The training corpus is so big. Language has been around for so long. It's like fundamentally unknowable, right? It will always be magic. There'll always be some tricks to find in there, because there's just no way as a human you can kind of comprehend what trillions of tokens for gigawatts of energy training is like is. They're just like, it's just not something we can fathom. But so the interesting thing, going back to small models, right? Like they run locally. And in my hiatus, I went back to embedded programming. So I got these little guys here. This is like a 4 GB of memory LLM accelerator. It's actually just the gray little part, the gray little slice. I don't know if you can see it. The thing underneath is just, it's so big because it has an Ethernet port. But the little gray thing is the GPU accelerator. And so it can run a 2 billion model, like a 2 GB model RAM thing, at like 8 tokens per second or something. But if you only produce like 500 tokens, which can be a complete program, right? Like I don't know how many tokens this is, but this is 120 tokens. Um, I mean, that's the finished program, right? If I have like an irrigation system and I come in and it's like, hey, every Monday I want to water my roses, done. That's it. That's crazy. That's crazy to me, right? It's like, and so as far as humans go, like normie users, right? Like the end user, no one gives a shit what the software stack is. You just want to water your roses on Monday. And the only way we currently have it is to do these like complex iPhone app, home assistant, automator, whatever. But all it takes is 100 tokens. So this is what I want to get into. And like the JPA optimizer is like what will allow me to kind of, more easily target this. So because I have to do this for a client as well, I better should get going and dive into it. So James, do you know much about optimizers, like prompt optimizers? This one's pretty cool to explain. I've read the paper this morning, and what you're seeing here is like pretty much how I program these days, right? It's like, because agents have gotten so good, like pretty much everything I can think of, it's just like one shots, even like really complex stuff. I'm trying to find the things that fail now are mostly because I fail, which which is crazy. Um, I fail to comprehend what I'm trying to build, and it builds it anyway. And then it takes me time to figure out if it is what I wanted, and often it is, but it takes me time to catch up. Um, and so the way that I program is mostly I ask the agent to keep like a diary and to create documents, right? Like nothing too crazy about this. But then I upload them. So each of these is like kind of a ticket. I call them tickets. They're just like directories to put the LLM slop in. and I open it, and then I say like, hey, can you like investigate why I don't know, like this one program didn't work with Linux sandbox Chromium. It will write me like this is its diary, and so I will basically take my pen and just like go over it, and I'll be like, okay, well, what do you do, boy? And then I'll go in here and just like kind of follow and get an idea of the problem, the code base, the things that were tried, the things that could be better, right? It's like I just read this. It's a very pleasant way of like instead of seeing like an agent window scroll. And I like working on paper anyway. I always have. And so this really gives me like it's really pleasant. I'm never at my computer. I'm like I put a prompt in, then I take the documents from the previous iteration, right? And then I read them, and it often takes me like 10, 15 minutes, and I go back and it's like, oh well, I've got the next document. I know what to prompt now. And so I'll basically work like that, and I usually have one agent going because that is enough to saturate my brain, right? So this has been this is the impact for me of Codex 5.3, right? It's like I'm completely hands off now. There's like a few tiny things. It tends to overcomplicate things sometimes that I have to catch, or that I sometimes catch too late. But at this point, coding is kind of solved as far as I am concerned. Okay, so what we're going to do, and I'm going to try to figure out why this didn't load. There we go. Try to explain a little bit what I'm trying to build and how I'm going to build it. So I'm going to open my journal, my development journal, and we're going to write about the genetic Pareto optimizer. And so what I want to do is entity extraction and relationship over time extraction. So I've got a corpus of like interviews, and I want to extract entities and relationships over time. And in terms of the optimizer, we're going to have a training data set and a validation data set. And this data set is going to consist of, well, an interview transcript on the one hand, and then on the other hand is like an entity list and a list of relationship. So entity 1, entity 2, relationship type, and then date span. And what we're going to do, what we're going to optimize for is like what I want at the end result is I want a system where I take a transcript. It is going to sound stupid, but and then I get the result, right? Good result. And what comes in here is like there's going to be some LLM fuckery, some LLM stuff, and we want to optimize this, right? Optimize. And so a very simple first pass would be first idea is one-shot LLM inference. So this is what I'm going to build first, because, I mean, it's the easiest, right? Like you take the transcript plus prompt. So actually, I'm going to transform this. So transcript, then I do f transcript, which is going to modify the input into a prompt or a context window, whatever you want to call it, which then goes into an LLM, right? And then there's an entity extraction step. And then we have structured data that corresponds to what we have in our data set roughly. And so what we're going to do is optimize. I'm going to put this pen aside. What we're going to optimize is the F transcript. And that could be as easy as just putting a system prompt up front, right? So the trivial way of doing this trivial F is just system prompt plus template, you know, just like a plus transcript, or you know, just like templatize the transcript and send it. And that's kind of what GEPA is going to optimize, at least the way it's presented in the article, but we will expand on that. So what GEPA is going to do is it's going to use what it calls like reflective feedback. So you will run the system, right? Like you're going to take transcript, F transcript, then you're going to run it through the LLM, then you're going to get the LLM output, and you got the result of the extraction. So all of this is like kind of a trace of the run, right? It's like the run trace. And you can take this run trace, you can like potentially modify it a little bit. You take it through F feedback, and you can use the feedback to then optimize the prompt for the next part, right? And so you can take, you can take the previous one, and we're going to call it F0. F0, optimize it, and then with the feedback, it gives you F1. And there's a way to then select the best candidates and do it. So that's the genetic reflective part here, where you mutate the input candidate, like you do the optimization step using a feedback function on the trace of the run itself. And then the Pareto part of it is just the candidates that you select, where you can do, that's the part I'm actually unclear of, is like you do multiple candidates for a start, right? Like candidate. And then I wonder how you generate the first multiple candidates, actually. That's like, see, that's the first gap that I have, is how do you generate the first candidates? And actually, instead of doing this on screen, because this is too small and it's a little bit annoying to read, we're just going to, ask the AI. So add photos and files, we're going to take GPA PDF is like, how do we get multiple candidates? From the beginning. Because we're going to start with one prompt, right? And then we have to generate like multiple prompts at the beginning, I think. Candidate pool. Okay. First mutation, you mutate the base prompt on a mini batch. Okay. So mutation creates multiple candidates. Oh. Oh, this is instant. I was like, this doesn't seem correct. This is not the type of answer that I was expecting. That's why. Stop thinking. Me too. Me too, my man. All right, let's make this a little bit prettier. Just for the heck of it. And so the first thing we're going to build, however, is building like a data set, because I couldn't really find a data set that corresponds to what I want. The ones that I found that were like similar are kind of not that great. I've got a data set, but it's proprietary, so I can't show it on screen. And ultimately, it doesn't matter all that much. So while this is researching, right, like I'm going to show what I've been building on my end. So what I've been building is I have this framework called GEPA, which is just like LLM framework. It has a pretty interesting way of doing prompt composition, which we'll get into maybe not today, but it's really, really cool and I'm excited about it. And so what it does is like model abstraction. It does structured data extraction. I mean, not that these things are any way complicated, but it does so in a way that does like event streaming. It can like look pretty. It does middleware composition, so it does prompt composition. This is like the interesting novel part. It's when you see it, you can't unsee it. It's very simple, but it is really powerful. And there's a lot of boilerplate around it to make it nice. And then the last part that is pretty interesting, it has like a JavaScript API. And the JavaScript API allows us to do this compressed kind of code generation where we can quickly create different candidates for not only prompts, but actually full loops, right? Like it also does tools, of course. Tools, tool calling, that kind of stuff. And so the JavaScript API, I've refreshed it. So I've got like a JavaScript API runner, and this is all vibed. So I'm not sure if it even makes sense to like kind of reuse this. This was like, right, this is like just overcomplicated. Or it kind of worked. I was deep into it like a few days ago. I kind of forgot about it. I'm going to leave it aside. I'm sure there's like stuff to be reused here, but it's too much complexity for me to tackle versus starting afresh. But I will use all the boilerplate that it has in here to kind of start from a known point. So this is where we're going to start. And also, I've been working a lot on Geppetto since the last time I touched this, so I'm going to rebase it. This might break some things because I've changed like a ton of APIs. See, so this is where it starts. So what did I change here? Interesting. You see how many conflicts there, how many topics there were. So writing plugin descriptors. All right, well, this seems simple to resolve. So we're going to take both B and C. So C, C, and C. And then this is also C. And then this is also, no, this is good. This is good. And then we're going to take this part and also add it. All right. I could let an LLM do this. It'd probably do a better job than me, but whatever. So this is good. Oh, no, what did I do? Oh, shit. My bad. And I don't have Rev Array enabled? Fuck. So let's do it the other way around. We're going to choose B everywhere. B and B. And then we're going to add the plugin descriptors down here. And then RBC, not RBA. Commit. There's a conflict again in the vocabulary. That's going to be easy to resolve. I'm going to do B and C. And B as well. All right. How bad is it? How far are we into it? Oh, okay, so this worked, right? Um, how different are we? We do have a bunch of plugin modules that are different. So this is the JavaScript. The JavaScript API. I'm not fully sure how good it is. We do have an optimizer plugin. We do have an extractor plugin. Those might be things I want to move over to our API. Like there's no reason for Geppetto to have like an optimizer plugin. And anyway, this is like kind of over engineered. Anyway, not something that I want to have in here. So maybe this is what we're going to start with. And so what we're going to do is open our codex, and then my standard prompt is create a new, let me see where the doc manager is configured to. My doc manager is just something that allows me to, yeah, so this needs to be changed, doc manager init root, and then we're going to move this to go GEPA. And this just initializes like this ttemp directory with a vocabulary. I should have seeded the vocabulary. Let me see, does that update it? No. Let me start this again. We should now have a seeded vocabulary. Still not? What the fuck? Wait. I had this weird thing where Goland wasn't refreshing things, so why doesn't it seed the vocabulary? Is it because of this? This is like a totally vibe coded tool. Like I know it's kind of garbage. That's weird. One day I'll fix it. This is weird. Why doesn't it initialize the vocabulary correctly? Oh, we're going to copy a proper vocabulary to go JPA ttemp. There we go. All right, this is maybe a little bit too much, but whatever. So what Doc Manager does is just like allows me to have a consistent view of the slop that the model is going to generate, and it also gives the generated documents some structure and a metadata. So we're going to see that. Create a new Doc Manager ticket, JPA 01, which is extract Geppetto plugins, and keep a frequent diary. And so now I'm going to do an analysis file, analyze how to move extractor plus optimizer plugin from Geppetto into go JPA, since they're not part of the core framework. I don't know if that's necessary, but we'll put it here. And then I guess we could just use something I put in yesterday, which is like doing a ticket research, doc manager remarkable. I'm not sure how well that works. We're also going to do something which is approve full access because fucking YOLO. And there we go. So you're going to see what the model is going to do now. It's going to call doc manager. It's going to call doc manager create a new document, which will instantiate a template for a research document or for like an analysis document. I don't know what it's going to choose here. It will create a front matter with topics and all of that, right? And then you can see it created the GEPA extract Geppetto plugins with the design document, and it populated the template here with a bunch of tickets. So this kind of allows me to have a consistent structure to all my work, basically, right? Like I don't have like random markdown files lying everywhere. And then through the metadata, I'm able to say like, hey, give me all the documents that are related to JPA, and it will find them. Or the related files is really, really cool. I haven't actually, models don't really use the search functionality, but the simple fact that they see the front matter is like stellar. And I vibed this back in, I'm gonna say September. So this was before you could just completely YOLO really high quality stuff on the side. Like you still had to be quite involved to not have it like devolve into slop. Now that you can just like, now that compaction works so well in codecs, like the game is really different. It would be like higher quality. But and also because I've used it so much now, I have some kind of like a clarity of what is useful and what isn't. So I'll go back to it one day. For now, it works pretty well. So this is going to do its research on these things. We're gonna actually start another research while I'm at it. So I usually don't do work trees and work in parallel on projects because I do take my time writing in my journal, and I guess this is good for the stream because I can just talk while it's doing this. But I'm gonna start something. Sorry. I'm going to start something which is I kind of want to have documentation in here because I feel that this is too valuable of a project to yeet away in general as well. But it has no documentation, and I'm going to use Cloud Code. I fucking hate Cloud Code. I can't get it to do anything useful without fighting it. It's really annoying. This is kind of a lot here. But it's good at writing, and Codex really kind of it's so cryptic. It's like it's good and it's bad. Opus is just stellar. It's just absolutely stellar. I love it for that. So I do kind of want to understand the runner part. The runner part is what I'm interested in. This is how to run JavaScript scripts, and it's something that I've used a lot to generate code and running, have the model just run it. I've never really used it as like a surface area that I am going to be encountering all the time, but because this is going to be um, so much interaction and tracing what my runs are doing and like running evals and doing all of that, I do want to have something a little bit more consistent. And I've been building like a shit ton of tools to work with JavaScript. And so I am trying to not get too much into the meta today, where I just like build tools all the time because I've been spending the last 3 weeks building tools. But I do want to have at least an understanding of how this all works, and um, I do want to have. I'm going to draw this out like what I want, but I want to run my Claude code. So we see there's like a ton of stuff to rebase because I've been working a lot on things lately. So we're going to do this quickly. Git rebase origin main. Then we have the CozoDB extraction, git rebase origin main. We're going to go into Pinocchio. I think there's a command for it. This is also vibe coded. This was vibe coded in May, so this is like half of it doesn't work. Rebase workspace directories is there. I don't think I've. Oh, what the fuck? So it failed the rebase on Geppetto. Yeah, because don't do that. We already rebased. So yeah, the command is not the best one. Did we rebase this? Did it lose it? No, it has the latest things. So, all right, well, I guess Workspace Manager rebase kind of worked. What I want to do before I start drawing is just launch the Claude code to do some interesting analysis. Why does it still mark? Oh, what the fuck did it do? Okay, get rebased fucked shit up. Cool. I shouldn't have done that. All right, so don't do Workspace Manager rebase. Not a good idea. As I rebase all my little things here, GEPA is the original one. I don't know if I want to rebase this on the upstream. I don't think there's a need to. There's a ton of tickets in here, I think. There's just like, there's a couple. We're going to move all of these to our new repo. There we go. And I think all our multi-repos should be rebased while it's still doing its research over here on how to extract these like last little pieces out of Geppetto that have nothing to do there. So this is fine. We're going to commit this. Commit ttemp docs. And just to be sure. All right, cool. So let's launch Claude Code, which I hate. And also maybe you guys can give me some tips because I don't know how to use it. It's just like it has so much going. I don't want to nuke my plan by switching to Pi. I was using Pi for a while, but now that they crack down on the terms of service, I want to avoid it. So I'm going to do this. Work on doc manager ticket JPA02 analyze runner and analyze the JavaScript running in go JPA. Keep a frequent diary. You can run experiments in the tickets scripts folder. I don't know if it's loading skills the way I want. Like I don't fucking trust this. It always does some fuck shit that I don't understand. Because I do have Claude skills here. And I do have this like research. Yeah. Use. So I'm just gonna put it in manually like a Cro-Magnon. I want to build a set of tools for doing GEPA optimizations that are, so one is running scripts to create a synthetic data set, then run individual runs with the middlewares configured through a YAML file. And then these tools should store not just turn snapshots, but also metadata about candidate number, reflection used, etc. in the storage so that I can run proper analysis and benchmarks. They should also store the result data, etc. research how to best build this and do some design suggestions. Store in the ticket, upload to Remarkable. It's just because I don't trust Claude Code. I often see it loading like some Anthropic skills. Like it will start loading front end design. I'm like, why the fuck are you doing front end design? And then I also don't understand it's like whole reading from directories and stuff. I don't know. It's just I should read up more on it, but I was so happy with Pi. I was just like, yeah, okay, I want system prompt, let's go. And this feels like a tool that I have to learn. It's like fuck learning. All right. Well, anyway, let me go back to what I actually want to build, which is, as I was noting before, I do need to generate some synthetic data sets, right? So one, generate data set. And so what I want is it has to be like an interview kind of setting with like a therapist or a coach. Excuse me. Excuse me. It has to have different people. These people have relationships. And these relationships evolve over time. So this is the ground truth that we're going to use to evaluate the quality of the result. But then out of this ground truth, we need to generate fake transcript, right? Like coaching transcripts or like therapist transcripts. So we need a prompt to do that. In fact, we do need a program, right? And so the program is going to use an LLM in this case, right? Because this is a good way of doing it. It's going to store the transcripts and it's going to store the ground truth labels. So this is the first program we're going to write. And I want to write this part over here, right? This I want to write in JavaScript, but run it from a Go host that's going to take care of all the configuring, the provider, blah, 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 blah. So, so this is JavaScript running inside Go. And the other thing we need to take care of is obviously the system prompt, right? So these two things here, the yellow thing is going to be, oh man, yellow is like not the best color, huh? Let me do a thick line. All right, a little bit more legible. This is going to be our generation prompt, right? Look, or data set generation prompt. But of course, we're going to generate all of this, right? So these two things, we're going to generate these as well. So we're going to have a meta prompt to generate these two, which I'm going to optimize. That's kind of like the point of what I want to do this. Why does it have to ask for every single fucking directory if it wants to read from it or not? Anybody help me? I guess I have no one viewing, so then it's going to ask me for every fucking sub agent as well. Maybe I should just like search online, huh? How the fuck do I get Claude Code to stop asking me to read permissions from every fucking directory. All right. So in the meantime, we do have this little cleanup to be done. So I don't know how I should structure this for on screen. Like maybe I should put my tablet view back and hopefully these things stay readable. Yeah, I guess this kind of works, huh? So the first task we're doing, this is just like some menial cleanup. Menial cleanup is extract GEPA garb from core framework. And because this is like a little bit surgery, because I just want to make sure that this is okay, I'm going to go to the file that it uploaded. So we're the 26th today. So I'm going to go to January 26th. You can see it uploaded its analysis. Yeah, it's dangerously skip permissions. Doesn't that disable like a ton of other stuff? I'm not sure. Maybe I mean, it seems to be happy here. I don't fully know. I wonder if there's like, because it has so many bells and whistles, like I want to kill the system prompt and I want to kill the permissions, but I kind of want to keep its tools and whatever. Anyway, we'll see. This is just for writing anyway, so it's usually just for like read-only stuff. But in the meantime, we do have the investigation diary. We do have the migration plan here that Codex put together. So I usually take my red pen and I just go over it really quickly. Ownership mismatch. So these two symbols are indeed the thing that I want to extract. Geppetto currently owns required Geppetto plugins and export both extractor and optimizer plugin contract helper, but this is not core and friends framework behavior. Yeah. Then we can say GoGo GEPA already duplicates optimizer contract validation in. And so this is the interesting part already, right? It's like, oh, this seems to be already duplicated. I can't read it in full. But that's a good point, right? And so this Codex 5.3 is pretty good at being like, yeah, this is duplicated. Like I'm going to kill one of them. But before, this would have been like a slop recipe, right? Missing registry identifier carriage currently, but no explicit registry identifier. In scope, move plugin contract module out to GoGo GEPA, define compatible for existing require scripts. Out of scope, replacing require, that is true. Rewriting optimizer and profile registry semantics. Why did it put that here? So this is how I'll annotate things. I'll be like anything that like kind of catches my fancy, I'll just put a note. And one of the things I've seen with Codex is like, hopefully not too many. It tends to write a little bit too many tests for my preference, although they're all pretty good. So, so this is the evidence. Yep. This is interesting. I didn't know that because I don't know the code base. So just for fun, let's go see what this file is. So this is the plugin contract. Oh, it has indeed a define optimizer plugin thing already. So that's interesting. I don't know how this happened because I was kind of into it, but then I got distracted by other stuff. So, all right, so that's cool. Current metadata carries plugin ID, but not registry identifier. That's kind of, so this is a big refactor I've been doing. See, the eval recorder persists the plugin ID and plugin name. That's kind of cool, but it doesn't do that. So proposed solution is plugin contract in GoGo GEPA. That's cool. Expose canonical module names. That's cool too. Compatibility alias, no. I should have told it, no compatibility. That's good too. We want a registry identifier, API sketch, legacy module name, nope. And then it does register. So this is the new API. Registry identifier, interesting too, but sure, why not? Runtime wiring, new JS runtime, to plugin, no compatibility alias, load plugin, meta registry, empty, then do this, and then we return the metadata. All right, so this sounds good, but there is two things, which is like remove, how do you remove the legacy JS stuff in GEPA? Also, we don't want a compatibility alias. So here I'll take my notes from the document and then just kind of prompt them as a follow-up, right? I've been rushing this one, not explaining much just because it's irrelevant to what we're building. It's just like some cleanup. But I'll usually have like 3-4 questions of things that I don't understand. Well, like iterate a little bit on it, or say like, hey, no, I don't want like this thing. Can you update the design document now that you know that I don't care about this? And interestingly, like I barely read the code, but I do have a pretty good understanding that builds over time. And of course, because I have so much, I forget pretty quickly, but I forget in the same way that I would forget about the code that I wrote before, where I'm like, I've got a sense of the structure. I think I know roughly how it assembles into other pieces. And if I really need the details, I can look at the header files. This is very similar to what I do here, which is I'll just look at the diary files or at the header files or this. So this is interesting. Remove plugin exports from Geppetto core. Keep contracts and Geppetto own stuff. Remove the, yep. And then what about, what was the name of that file? GEPA plugin contract. What about, like, that's the one where I'm like, I don't know how it got created. I don't know if it's like legacy stuff that then got moved to Geppetto and I didn't clean it up back then. It is local to GoGo GEPA. What does it do? Okay, can't we move that to the Go side of things? Because if Go defines, does this, yeah, because this defines, oh, it defines, this is a Go function. So this kind of seems useful, I guess. I'm going to keep it for now, and then I'm going to go do a list. So this, oh, it does just like, it is just like cleanup, right? It's just like some validation code. Okay, keep it, create tasks for the work task by task, commit, appropriately keep the diary. I write this by hand out every time. I don't know if I should, like, I created a skill at some point and I don't trust it. We'll see. So anyway, this is running. We do have our next document to review, which this time Claude has written. So this is going to be a little bit nicer to read, I guess. Although on stream, I'm going to try to be reasonably fast. So you can see I've got the investigation diary, 3 pages here where I can just like kind of look at what it's been doing. I see that it hasn't written any scripts to test things. So now we can dive straight into analyzing this. So propose a set of tools, right? Like these were the 2 tools that I was talking about, which is I want to build this tool here, generate the data set, and then I want to build the second tool, which is running the trace, or like running plus recording the trace. And we'll get back to this. And then the third tool we're going to build, actually, I forgot, is like the feedback function, which is, and the optimize function, which are kind of the same thing anyway. So we'll see what the design is that it proposes. And the overall workflow, I think, is like the thing that everybody does, right? Which is like research, spec, implement. I explicitly go through the whole paper, or I used to print them out, and then at the end I was printing like 100 pages a day and was like, this is not sustainable. So now I bought like a remarkable tablet, which I don't think I have a device that I missed so quickly so much. Like one day I forgot my pen at work, and it was like worse than a cigarette. I was like constantly trying to grab for my pen. All right, so no tooling exists to create data sets. YAML-driven experiment configuration, that's cool. Middleware stacks and optimizer parameters. Enrich metadata storage. And then benchmarking and analysis support. We're going to leave that aside. This is, I think, Claude's problem of always like being a little bit too overeager. So 3 new commands: generate data set, GEPA run an experiment, GEPA run an analyze. So this is the first thing, is like 1 binary, 3 verbs is what I want. All right, what exists today? Optimize eval. This is actually pretty cool. The optimizer loop. So that's cool. That's irrelevant for now. The recording layer persists to 3 SQLite tables. Runs candidate metrics, eval examples. This is like not what we currently want. This is where I'm like, should I remove this for now? Because I will have to learn it. Maybe it's like going to just be easier to recreate it. So yeah, so what is missing is like a single experiment configuration as a single YAML file. However, no, we don't yet want. So because this defines experiment configuration as an optimizer parameter, but that's not what I want. Like I want like a running a single inference, which an experiment is going to be many inferences. So I don't want to reuse these things. I knew that what exists is going to taint things, and Claude is usually going to be running with things. So I might be just deleting what we have right now and then try it again, or I might prompt this overall, because this is really like now primed on the whole like optimizer stuff, which I was worried about. Is like I do want to build like a subset of this. So I'm just going to go back and just try to prompt it differently. So actually what I want is building blocks of the optimizer workflow, not the full thing. I really just want GEPA. What should we call it? Is like candidate run config, which takes an input from the data set, a config for a single candidate run, no optimizer, no data sets, etc. So I had to be like a little bit more precise. But now I'm also giving like a structure here, right? It's like GEPA dataset generate config blah.yaml, which generates a, it's like a --count2 output. That kind of stuff to generate data sets. We'll get back to the optimizer loop later. create a new design document in the same vein and upload that. So that's what I was worried about. I guess I should have seen this coming. I saw it coming, but always good to experiment. And when something goes wrong, it's like a good point to say like, hey, can my prompting improve? Why did I make this mistake? Can I? It's like a compiler run that went wrong, right? And now you're like, oh, I shouldn't use a for loop. I should use like X, Y, Z, or maybe I should introduce like a method to do this, or something like that. However, you can see my other agent is done, and like I don't really have things running in parallel. Like when I do research, I'll have stuff running in parallel, but I'm this is already like taxing my brain a little bit. I found unexpected pre-existing changes. There's a very large dirty tree. Ignore GEPA completely. Remove untracked files in Geppetto. This is GPT-5 being like careful, which is good. Ignore the ticket stuff in go GEPA if not your tickets. That's like the Claude working down here. Continue. So did it upload to Remarkable? Not yet, right? Oh, it didn't even start. Well, that's my bad. But, you know, it gives me a little bit of time to breathe and think about what's coming next. So also go to the bathroom. But going back to our little thing, so this is running, and then the other thing, so I use this little symbol to say that something is running so I don't forget it. And then the other thing we have running is like Claude code design for GEPA candidate run GEPA dataset create. So if we go back to what we're trying to build, currently Claude Code is designing for this, right? Claude Code is designing for this part, CC research, but we still have this part to do. So let's go do that. And this we can just like play around in Claude AI. This is like the fun part. Create a prompt that allows us to use a LLM to generate a data set, synthetic data set to optimize for entity extraction and relationship, emotional relationship evolution over time. The generated data should be a therapy, coaching, discussion transcript, similar to real life, not stilted, and a set of ground truth data. So I know that Claude is usually a pretty good prompt optimizer. We might also just go into the dashboard, console.anthropic.com. Is that what it is? Platform.claude.com. Not, man, this is so ass. Let's see what happens when we do it over here. Just to compare, I found this to be usually pretty good. Back in the days, it's been like a year that I haven't used this. And we'll also have to use like the structured data format is probably something that I'm going to tweak just to reuse some of the code that we have here, right? So the JS part here, as we talked about, is going to be in all of these cases is going to be, sorry, I was going back to my tablet, It's going to be LLM prompt, right? And then it's going to be an extraction thing, which is actually directly related to the prompt, right? It's like the prompt says which format, and then the extraction is just like the code. And then this is going to be storage as well. Storage schema. All of these three little things here, the extraction code, the prompt, and the storage schema kind of interrelated. And because it's so cheap now to create schemas, I don't think it even makes sense to think about like, you know, storing JSON blobs. We can just like regenerate a full schema as we need it and have like the full niceness of relational data. Before, like, I know we're going to iterate on that schema, right? But it's so easy to generate it that I can just do it right. And then obviously one more thing we're going to create out of all of this is a dataset visualizer, right? Dataset viz. And for that, we're also going to use Cloud Code. But for that, I first want to have some kind of tangible dataset stuff. So what is this doing? You will be generating a synthetic blah, blah. Here's the session context for the therapy you should generate. No num exchanges. This is, I mean, these are template parameters. The dialog should sound natural. Entities to track should identify and track. Output format, a transcript, ground truth annotations. I don't know if this is the right order to generate them. I'm going to trust this. This sounds very stilted, but we'll try it out. And then this is, I mean, we could optimize the synthetic data thing. Also, I do have some real transcripts from the client that I have. So I'm not going to try to go too crazy on this. Yo. Oh. All right, so this guy's finished over here. This guy's finished here as well. I am not going to let Claude implement it, but I can then set codecs on it, right? So since the document has now been created, you can see it. It's right here. Oh, this is the old one. This is the new one. And so now we can kind of review this. Two standalone building blocks. So we're going to focus on dataset generate because that's what we've just been building the prompt for. Outputs to JSON files and or a dataset directory. No, I want like a database, but that's fine. Require prompt to prompt file, eval command optimize. So that's not what we're missing. Command that takes a candidate, multi-parameter YAML JSON, a specific example or subset of examples runs evaluate on each and stores the result. Did it again fucking forget? Oh, I didn't understand it. Man, it's so... Oh, this is so frustrating. All right, third time. So... is a very simple command that just takes input and runs it once without computing. Okay, is computing evals or so. That's what a future GEPA candidate eval is going to be. This is all because I have so much ground truth that is like confusing it. And I also think it doesn't give the full context to its sub-agents. So kind of my bad, yeah, my bad. I should have just deleted all of this. So most of this analysis is for, at least for the candidate run, is make a new document only about candidate run, which should really be a dev tool kind of thing. Also allow for DB storage in SQLite. So we're going to have that research, but however, we're going to go to the generate dataset part, because that one is probably easier. See, and it's like latching onto the existing schema. So yeah, I made a boo-boo, but let's focus on this guy. GEPA dataset generate. Generate a plugin, YAML template file. Yeah, whatever. Well, because we'll have Codex go over it, I'm not going to fret too much about the design here. Okay, format, whatever. Define dataset generator. That's kind of interesting, to be honest, because you can do deterministic. I don't know if I want to over-engineer it already with this kind of stuff, or if I just want to take it like a prompt kind of thing. YAML template alternative. Sure, why not? Execution flow, parse YAML template, select sample variables from ranges. So it doesn't know that we want to use the LLM. So I should have just like run this with Codex, to be honest. We are on Opus, right? Oh man, what? Oh, because it's running, so I can't do like slash commands. And now my keyboard's broken. Like it takes like a minute to register keyboard strokes. I hate Cloud Code. All right, but so anyway, this thing here did the refactor. It did remove Geppetto plugins from core thingy. It updated Geppetto to match hard cut behavior. So it did the docs thing. That's cool. Migrated extractor scripts, kept plugin as requested, updated the diary. So just to show you guys, upload diary to tablet, what such a diary looks like. Here, I'm just going to trust it. See, I'm trying to delete model, but it's blocked. This is such garbage. I don't know how you can fuck up something so bad that like a console tool is not able to react to keyboard strokes. It's insane. So anyway, what we're going to do now is, what's the directory we're in? Add GEPA optimizer. We're going to go into Geppetto and we're going to do a pull request because it has removed a bunch of stuff. If we do a git stat to origin main, not much should have changed. We have a module test go. What the fuck is that about? It's 15 lines. All right, yeah, why not? So this is going to be a very small pull request, which we're going to do anyway. Small JPEG touch. It might not, it's like 30 lines. It's probably like completely irrelevant. So I'm going to let it be as such. It has a bunch of history though, actually. So I'm gonna use that. Worked on GEPA, undid it, just so that it's in the history of main, just so that's merged. In case there's like stuff I want to fish back out later on. So that's one commit we can do now. And then if we go to go JPA, so let me just edit this. Gemini 2.5 Pro still doesn't know how to do YAML, which is funny by itself. This change removes the JavaScript modules, delegating responsibility. All right. And then here we do have a little bit more, right? Wait, where did the source happen? Where did the work happen? So this is, I guess this is weird. So I'm going to look at the diary. I'm not sure what it did. So here we have the extract Geppetto diary. So this was hard cut removal and Geppetto runtime tests. Commands. All right, task 2, documentation hard cut. Extractor scripts migrated off Geppetto plugins. Replaced helper-based descriptor creation with explicit. So this is in, oh, it did it in the wrong directory as well. Oh man, this is all such a mess. I should have just started from scratch. Like this is just hackery-do. So it modified the CozoDB extraction, which is also like something that was vibe coded that I should have removed. Did we rebase this of main? So this is where it removed it. All of this is very confusing. I don't think this is a good start. What about the stuff in Go GEPA? Do we need to change anything there? So the thing that I just modified was like a Manus one-off that I did that is like completely messy, and I just put it in there as like a reference kind of thing. And I should have prompted my models better to tell them to ignore all the old slop or just like delete it. But lesson learned. It's been a while since I ran into this trap. For the hard cut, you do not need functional changes. All right, cool. So what are we going to do? We said the data set generation here wasn't great. Right, like the data set generation here. Candidate run design. Oh, it uploaded it just now. Optimization tooling, building blocks design. Man, I don't know if because right now I'm contemplating, should I just rewind everything and go back to the start? Because I learned about the code base, right? Like none of this is really too bad. Or should I try to salvage this? Because I've got this like sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. And we're mostly at like document level, right? Like we didn't really do very much in terms of code. We just actually removed some legacy code, which is always good, right? So did this create a pull request? Yeah, it did create a pull request, so that's good. This should be a pull request that doesn't do very much, but has 14 commits, right? Like, so something happened over time here. So that's good. It got like a code review thumbs up. The question now is, because the research documents that Claude created are so messy, and my Claude code is like stuck, should I try to salvage the documents with Codex? Should I potentially use this, right? Use the prompt that we had in Claude Code and try it with Codex. Yo, how do I? All right, so not the full thing. So now that we have like a little bit more data, I can actually kind of try to one-shot this. Also make a design document about dataset generate, which is explicitly also about using Geppetto and a LLM prompt to generate a starting data set. There are already design documents done by your confused cousin. Don't take them very seriously. They went too far. We really care about fundamental building blocks before tackling optimizations, evals, benchmarks. All right, hopefully this will do it. Upload to Remarkable when done. So I have a hunch that Codex is not going to get confused. And in fact, this is a little bit of an experiment for me, which is I have kind of a really messy landscape. Codex misunderstood something, Claude Code misunderstood things and generated a bunch of documents that Codex now has to like kind of ignore. The code base is messy. I don't know what GEPA contains. I don't know what this other CozoDB runner kind of contains. So it's all a very messy landscape. And it's messy for me because obviously I didn't know that when I started. I didn't expect it to be that messy. So will Codex be able to match enough patterns based on what I prompted it to actually reformulate what I want, even though I can't really formulate it cleanly? I do have an idea of what I want, which is these two basic tools. I don't know how to implement them. I don't want to really know how to implement them. I want the final result. Um, so this is kind of an experiment because Codex 5.3, as said, I've been so used to having a clean idea in my head and just like one-shotting things that I haven't really run into confusion with 5.3. Partly because the model is so good, I'm sure, but also most importantly, I think just because I had a very clear path of building things in the last couple of weeks. So here I'm going to learn something about Codex. Um, I have a hunch that it will succeed, that it will be able to give me documents that are clear, where I have to do minimal edits, where the intent is well understood. Because the documents so far that have been created by Claude didn't understand my intent, right? Like they didn't understand what I was going for. I think Codex now, because I have clarified my thinking a little bit, right? Like I'm able to give it this prompt instead of just the first one that I had. Um, but also because Codex is just better at this kind of thinking, I do hope that this will work. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. I think this will run about 5-6 minutes. So you're welcome to look at this for at least a couple of minutes. And I'm going to put back this part here just to show what we are building. I think this image is like probably clear enough. So also let's check things off. So this worked. Then this fail, confused. And then what we have now is like retry the design, but with Codex. So that's where we're at right now. Pretty. I like drawing because it like keeps my head clear. Um, so it's running experiments, right? Like this is something Claude didn't do. So this is actually going to like create little scripts and start examining things, compiling them, which will lead it to focus more on GoGoJPA as a directory as well. And we'll give it like some ground truth as it's building to say like, well, this doesn't even compile. You shouldn't use this. Like this is a little bit tricky. I don't understand how to give it parameters. See, it does like these kinds of things here. So, all right, I'll be right back. Have fun. I have one suspicion as well. Why this didn't work out all so great is like I'm on stream and I'm talking, and my head is not clear. Like I didn't focus on this document, for example, the codex document, well enough. I'm sure it says that it's going to work in the wrong directory, and I didn't catch it. See, it says it right here. I didn't catch that one. And I should have caught that. And I think that's just because I was rushing because I was on stream. It didn't do this phase though, maybe, right? Like that's another thing where maybe it also didn't go through entirely, which again is like working on stream is hard for me because it really shuts off a part of my brain that that I usually need. See, it didn't. It has more phases here. It has more phases. I'm sure it removed stuff as well. So my prompting probably wasn't on point either. How does this work? It's been so long since I used IntelliJ stuff. Show history. Right, like, so this was the first one, and then it deleted a bunch of stuff. Yeah, not good. Yeah, because I went over that, and then it, like, deleted it, huh? Because I said no backwards compatibility. Yeah, what was I thinking? This is so weird. So why did it do that? So this is when we can start reading the diary. Why did it decide to delete all of that stuff? And I mean, it's not the reason, right? Because it's an LLM, so its thinking is more like a semi thinking part. I'm really curious. I'm sure it's because I'm streaming that I didn't have the mental acuity to catch it. So it created step code base, core ownership, GEPA runtime. What did Jesus? It really did a lot of um, things. So delivery validation log, remarkable upload delivery, direction change, user confirmed hardcut strategy, no compatibility alias. User requested to ignore GEPA entirely. That was the issue, wasn't it? So this is a weird diary as well. I think this research diary prompt that is not good as well. Yeah. This is interesting. I really fucked up. It's been a minute since this happened. I guess of course it happens on stream, but I guess it's good. This shows more of more interesting things, I think. This is really interesting because it removed it. See, it removed all of this. See, I think it's this guy here. Yeah. This is, I missed this because I was talking, right? I think this was the mistake because it asked me about this guy here. It's weird because I added the slash on purpose to make sure that it referenced to this. But where was the prompt before? Keep it, create tasks for the work. Yeah, because this all looks good. Or this. There's something in there that caused it to do this drastic shift. Very, very interesting. So it uploaded the design for these two things, and it's like going back to GEPA 01. The first version was actually adding things to go JPA, and you reverted it in a subsequent commit. I do actually want you to do that work. Can you revert the plan and tell me what needs to be done now? Also update agent MD to make sure that JPA and so now because I saw it use these two things are just for reference and are not in scope of our work. So I'm going to try to clarify things. I'm really stumped by the fact that it reverted all these changes that I approved. And I'm worried I might be this like JPA slash. I don't know. I don't see anything in the diary. Also, yeah, that's the other thing is like the diary from now on also keep a detailed diary. And I made the mistake of my research skill is not good. Which I also kind of knew. I think I'm gonna rewind in the recording of this thing and see like, did I have the gut feeling that this was gonna go sideways? Because I think I did. I feel iffy about this research skill, and so anyway, we do have a new document to review, which I'm going to do because we also have a prompt to review, which, however, depends exactly on this other thing. And we have a pull request to merge, which actually doesn't touch code. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge it. All right, let's go back to the tablet and let's look at our codex version of the plan. And I'm really curious here to see if codex actually understood what I was meaning. So candidate run dev tool SQLite, narrow building block. So I hope that this didn't narrow things too much. Implement a developer facing command that runs one candidate once on one input and returns raw output. Perfect. Single execution path, no loop, no optimizer, no scoring or objective aggregation. Candidate can be a multi-key map, prompt, planner prompt, etc. Optional SQLite recording with rich metadata, no optimizer loop, no benchmarks, no candidate selection logic, no data set generation. CLI only has optimize and eval. Eval requires prompt text, blah, blah, blah. Experiments, CLI contract. So that's good. Config, candidate, source, prompt, input script, record the B tags. That's all pretty cool. Not sure what that is for. But sure, why not? I'll ask it to remove it. So plugin contract for candidate run requires a dedicated run callable. All right. Run input output, transitional compatibility switch for what? What is evaluate? Where does that come from? So not all that clean. What is that? Is that just an example? I don't know what the difference between config and input is either. I realize that talking on screen makes me not write things down because I'm saying them out loud. And I need to be quiet to do it. So maybe we should put the input in a separate file. Yeah, that's it. Talking makes me not write things down. And when I don't write things down, I don't think about them. Because I'm not slowing down enough. Yeah, so that is good. It's creating a different table. This I don't like. Okay, so the candidate and the input separation actually makes sense. Because we want to run a candidate on multiple inputs. So this has to be a separate file. Yeah, so this is good. It still does like an input and output JSON. This is nice to have generically, and then potentially we'll add our own insertion code in there as well. All right, so we do have the single input file, separate input file thing to do. So now it's keeping a proper diary. So that I was missing that. It updated the agent MD. It added back the tasks in the first one, and it added 130 lines to the document. Move own plugin contract, carry registry identifier. Yep. All right, so this is better. Okay, so how does this influence also for candidate run? We want a separate input file. One is the config of the candidate. The other is the input. And then we haven't looked at dataset generation, which is over here. And config schema. I don't know if I need the script in here. The script should be an argument. So does this take the script? This also has it here. I also missed that. Yeah, because I was talking and then it's only here that I noticed. It's only here that I noticed that I was talking and that it was distracting me. Um, for both run and candidate, the script is given externally. And I'm adding the dash dash to immediately make clear that it's a command line argument. So this guy, do I even want to have a config like this? No output section in the YAML. That's all command lines. Flags. Use glazed for all, by the way. So just to make sure that it's not going to fuck my flag framework up. So this is good. And then we're going to do this in a separate one, which is parsing output data with middlewares. We're going to do this in the second analysis pass. Because what am I going to do this? We're going to update design docs. Tell me what you changed. Upload as v2 to tablet. It's good to realize how much doing this on stream makes my head not work. Now that I've been doing it so much on tablet without streaming, I'm able to realize. So here's the prompt. It's going to be interesting. You are a synthetic data generator generate a longitudinal case, ground truth, sessions per case, time span. Yeah, this is nice. At least 6 named people. This is good. This is nice. This is cool too. I wonder if it has it in here. Yeah, see, this is actually, I don't think this is good. Also, why is it hanging? Man, Claude is so ass. At least it didn't lose it. All right. Natural sounding. Yeah, let's try it. Session context. Work. 3. What model am I trying this on? Sonnet? What the fuck is this? Is this thing? This sucks. Let's try this. Console therapy session prompt. Uh, 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 uh. All right, at least this has filler words. Not that it matters all that much. How do I improve the prompt? Like this? No, this is tools. I thought there was like a generate prompt optimization here. Is it gone? Oh, improve prompt. That's where it is. So do I have that on the other? Gosh, what is this navigation? How do I go back to the other ones? There we go. But here I only have templatize. No, I just want to improve the prompt. Now I have improved prompt. Work. As RDF triples. All right. In the meantime, this guy finished, updated the, okay, build GEPA 1. And this is optimizing its prompt, and we can go to the tablet and see if Codex did some changes here. So candidate run v2. Candidate run script config input file output format record the B. That's cool. Optional flags. I like that. So that's cool too. It already did all of this. Yeah, so that I like. This is what I was looking for. And then the generate LLM bootstrap, strip config output db output. So this I also like. Validation. Sure. Could be in the JS. Yeah, so remove the validation section. Have to be careful not to be too fast this time, huh? So how do plugins report an error from run? That's a good question that I will have to ask. I hope this is not going to fuck the prompt up. All right. I'm not sure what it's doing here. It's still confused by the GEPA run stuff. Oh well. Okay, but that's no. Oh, it generated a test case and you have to click run down here. Does not support assistant message prefill, must end with a user message. Mid-level software engineer at a mid-sized tech company, very mid. Married 3 years. Presenting issues. Work stress, burnout, case structure, session, 7 sessions. Jesus Christ. Marcus Webb, Diane Webb, Richard Webb, Craig Fontaine, Jordan Kim, Sasha Patel, Tom Webb, Sandra Hollis, Nora Chant, Kevin Marsh. Mapping. All right, this is pretty cool. This is a lot of fucking people, though. This is hilarious. All right, this looks promising. Um, Lots of chain of thought thinking, I guess. It's gonna be a little bit slow, but holy fucking crap! No, 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 no! What the fuck? No, 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 no! No, 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 no! Average rounds per session. Average rounds per session. Average rounds per session. 5 to 10 sessions, session parameters. 40-90 conversational turns. Average conversational turns. Session count. All right. Holy shit, because otherwise we would have been there for like forever. Oh, and then the number of people as well. You eager little bastard. Man, it really likes adding shit. Is this like a strategy to get you to burn more tokens? All right. It's always going to choose 5, huh? All right, cool. I wonder if it's just a little bit too much, a little bit too long. All right, but that, I mean, I don't really know what it's doing here in the cleanup. I should have just killed it. I don't know why it was doing that. I thought it was more important than it was, and then I realized it just deleted stuff from Geppetto to go back to ground zero. I should have just like killed it at that point. I don't know what I was doing. In any case, all right, so implement the data set generator next. Just going to queue that up and then implement the if make sure to run it a couple of times with Pinocchio profile GPT-5 Nano. What the fuck is that? Character span computation? Oh no, it's asking for character span output? Oh no. That's crazy. I like that kind of stuff though. I mean, I do have real world data set for the work I'm going to do. So not too worried about the quality of the synthetic data set, but it's been a while since I did this kind of stuff. So see, like I see these like turn numbers, they're going to be distracting. I don't have them. Although they might be a good idea as markers, right? To just replace the character spans with just a turn number. And that's something I can easily add to my data as well, and to data in the real world system. Man, I'm gonna read a lot of drama. How long is the output window of these things? I'm so used to small models. So we haven't generated any code yet. Just like a little bit that was actually useless. But I hope it kind of shows how I don't have many agents running. Like this is fully occupying my brain, right? Obviously I've been down to like a little bumpy road here, but had I not caught it that early through reading the diary or whatever, it would have broken everything down the road. So I just don't understand how you can run stuff blind for so long, because now that I have 5.3 and I even 5.2 or 5, I like trusted them to kind of maybe under deliver, but like not fuck shit up. Opus still fucks shit up. Like Opus is just, I'm not touching that thing except for writing and or UIs. But like this is just thinking deeply about this problem. Like I can't generate more code. I already have too much code, right? Like if I didn't have that much code that I already generated, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. I should have deleted it. I'm sure in the transcript I say before I start, I'm like, should I delete this? I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to have this around, and I should have seen that this one is around here as well. Oh, and it has like more imported stuff here. What the fuck is that? Oh yeah, I should have just created a new repo. Like what the fuck? Well, lesson learned. I realize now that I have my workflow locked in, I can't really replicate it on stream, which is a little bit sad. Or you have to put up with periods of silence. And even then, I notice in my brain, I'm just like not locked in right now. It's like not locked in. I don't know what I'm doing. I had this session going on here. Okay, this is a lot of shit. Also, I don't like the output format. So this is nonsense. So I'm going to improve the prompt. I want only terse triples. I like the session plus turn thing. Let me see if there's more stuff that I kind of want to have here. So I like this. This goes straight into race. This is wild. Session 1 planning. That I like all of this intermediate thinking. What the fuck? This is stuff that I don't want in my training set. And so then the output is too annoying. And then we have the quotes here. Okay, so this has... So, okay, so improve prompt. No need for this. I do want the aliases and explanations and citations in there too, though. All right. Where are we at on the implementation here? I've added config and loader. I'm gonna next adding SQLite plus file output tests. It's already implementing the dataset generator, isn't it? That's interesting that it jumped like right in. Where was my prompt? Implement the dataset generator next. Oh. So I probably made a mistake when I tabbed it. Oh, see that? It when I alt edit it, it like added a new one. That's why. This is a bug, I think. It deleted both of the alt queued edits when I deleted the first one, and then when I edited the first one, it added a second one. All right. Okay, well, a little bit of progress after all. All right, and then I'm gonna, it's been 2 hours. We're gonna wait for the first data set generate to compile at least. And then maybe run it on one prompt with a single JavaScript generated. I hope. Maybe I'll just do that by myself. Because I didn't want to stream for too long. Gonna try to get into a pattern though. Like I've started writing again because Opus really helps me with that. Like I can take my ramblings, which usually diverge in like 3-4 ideas, and then Opus is able to like help me focus on a single idea. And it writes in a very similar style than mine when I edit things. Like people always told me I sound like an LLM because I like the bolding, I like the bullet points, I like the M dashes, like I like all that shit. And as such, I kind of sound like an LLM. And I'm also like, I don't give a fuck. And now I can actually use an LLM for writing. It sounds like me, which is cool. Has 2 views or something, so that's great. I don't think I'll reach stuff very well. All right. Manuel is the most AI aggressive programmer. All right, so what did this do? Here's the topic, people count. I wonder if it, no, it just made the race stuff up by itself. So prompt run. This model does not support assistant. That's so funny. Always fucking engineers with no children called Marcus. All right, dataset generate, and now make sure to run it a couple of times with Pinocchio Profile GPT-5 Nano. So that will cause it to generate a JS script. So I wonder if it's going to recognize that, if I like missed that part. We'll see. What is entity IDs? Store all scripts and temp document configs and such in the ticket scripts folder so I can track your steps. Keep a frequent diary. This, I guess, also something I should put into my skill or something. I'm not good at maintaining skills or stuff. I just reprompt the same stuff over and over. Because it isn't a skill, actually. It's in the doc manager skill, but tends to forget it, which I'm not sure why. And I'm not spending that much effort anymore because I now have a pretty clear concept of what I want my coding agent or coding environment to look like. And it's so different. It's so, so different from what is out there that I don't know. I wonder if it's going to work or if it's something that I've just like completely over engineered in my head and it's not going to make sense. Large. Hello, large. So it's funny. It started doing this thing where it like writes the results of commands and files and it runs the command with a sub agent. I'm not sure why. And then it examines the results, but it always stores them in text files and just reads them in full. So I'm like, what are you? Is this even useful? Because what would be good is to have structured logs, right? And then analyze those. So that might be actually something that I want to write out in my diary. So just to go here, gonna go into my diary. And one project that I want to revive. So this worked. Now I'm testing dataset generate. Testing dataset generate. And then SQLite logging starting to become more and more important. Yeah, it's not time. No, get your shit done. Um, you can use print parsed fields. So I added this like registry setup recently and it's kind of a mess still and I haven't really tested it all that much. And that was the one thing I was afraid of is like the profile registries and all of that stuff. Uh, that's the one thing I was worried about because I don't think that's like really great in documentation. I might also have like over engineered it, not fully. So it still has the bug in Glaze. That's weird. That's not something I'm going to show on stream because it leaks credentials in the debug commands. I thought I fixed that. So maybe the bug. Oh, I think I haven't released a new version. I think I haven't released a new version. That's a good point. keep making this typo lately. I don't know why. Oh yeah, see, I didn't bump it. My bad. I didn't bump it. Come on, publish it. Okay, so that worked. I mean, it looks like some modicum of success now, slowly. So we first have to bump Geppetto. I guess it's not all that important, but why is it so slow? Yeah, because it did env only workarounds. I know. There's something weird going on here. All right, so did this work out? We have all these data things, and then we do have the yeah. Yeah, good. So with profile settings section, okay. How I put this is not the format that I want. All right, well, I'll refine that on my own because this is not the output that I want, and I'm going to do the prompt optimization in like Claude Code or something. This is nice. I like that. Max tokens to sample reached. Yeah, that's the next thing. Is like we're going to have a loop here. Okay, cool. So we're making progress here. Align runner, profile registry, remove. We don't want OS get env. That's like my little nemesis. Oh, did we just burn a version? Why is it? This is an issue with my internet, I think, actually. I'm sure I'm on Cox Wi-Fi again instead of my router. No, maybe it's not an issue. All right. No. All right, good. Well, whatever. Yeah, good. I don't want this shit. I don't want these because now those are going to get parsed through structs. And that is good. Something's going on with proxy Golang org. It happens. I've had this before. All right. Well, this is where I would start to go get lunch and stuff. So, um, it seems like we have a generated data set. I'm going to then work on a proper prompt and on exposing the database to the JavaScript. Did this create some JavaScript actually? So if everything went right, it should have put the JavaScript in the ticket. Run dataset generate, script generator, command script arithmetic set generator. Oh, so it didn't even put it into the ticket. It put it right in here. Scripts arithmetic data generator, define dataset generator, API version, blah, 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 output generate one. And then it inputs, where is generate one? Oh, this is just a function. So then it generates this, and it could, and when is this? All right, anyway, so this can then use an LLM. I like this. This is not too bad, huh? Generate one. What does the code look like? Run into writer, dataset generate settings, script path, blah, 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 blah. Load dataset generator plugin. Where is this? Oh, is this all in the command thing? So we could move this to the package thing, huh? All right. Turn dataset generation plugin, etc., into a reusable component in PKG instead of all in command. So that's good too. Definitely getting somewhere. I could have a secondary agent, I guess, at this point, like split it and have two running, one that like now generates the one-shot candidate run, but I actually want to figure out which pattern it's going to do for the reusable. That way, the validate run, the candidate run can build upon that. If I had to build in parallel, then I would still have to unify, so I don't gain anything by it, right? Like I think a lot of the parallelism, it's weird because there's going to be, like, I find there's very few tasks in development that necessitate parallelism. And when they do, the model usually is able to do it in like a very concise amount of tokens anyway. Or when there's like big parallelism that I need, it's usually like a repeated task. Then I just have a write code to generate that code in the first place, right? Because then it's like kind of a rote thing, and usually you can get by pretty far with just like some automated stuff. It doesn't mean it needs to be fully automated, but you can automate like 90% of it and then have the model do the last 10%. So I don't know. I tried doing the multi parallel agent swarm stuff and I just don't get it. Because now obviously I don't have much to do. This is when I would just like get up and play with my cat or something. Or I would have like a second project on the side if I felt like it, right? Which I'm not going to do on stream. So usually I have two different projects, but in each of them, I'm like very linear. And if I do too many projects anyway, like my brain's already, this is not too taxing. What was taxing was the cleanup and landing. But I'm happy with what I'm getting at. I read the paper this morning, right? Like the GEPA paper. I understood it pretty well at this point. I think I have like a bunch of very interesting extensions to try out, which I might or might not make public. And we live in wild times. And I'm kind of glad that I went back to really like low level programming stuff. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I know what the rest of my day is gonna look like, which is also good. And yeah, whoever is not watching, thank you.